The War of the Realms, Spider-Man and the League of Realms. Issue number 1 from Marvel. Yes, I'm doing another Marvel series. Um, so the War of the Realms, another big event from Marvel. I don't know what the hell it's about because one, I'm done with events. I'm basically boycotting events, not just for Marvel but DC as well. I'm just I whatever. Like there's too many events. Like events used to be amazing because it was rare. Like it happened like once every couple years, and the big selling point was like you get these characters that hardly ever interacting with each other and banding together to fight a greater threat. But now you literally get these events every fucking month. We're halfway through May, not even, and we've already had how many events from both Marvel and DC? Like, enough with the events. You have an event going on while you're in the middle of another event. And then as soon as one event ends, you're already halfway through another event. And then that event ends and you're already halfway through another, like a third event. It's just event after event after event. It's like, stop it. Like, is this your way of trying to nickel and dime your customers even more? Because it's disgusting. But yeah, I'm not really reading any of the War of the Realms. I guess this is part of it, but this isn't like the main. This is kind of just one of those side stories happening during the event. Whatever, I don't care. So I guess I'll just read this just so we can kind of get what the hell is going on with the War of the Realms. So after laying waste to 9 of their 10 realms. Forgive me, for anyone who doesn't know, English is actually my second language, and I've always had really big troubles pronouncing my R words. So yeah, realms. I have to like be very, very slow when I pronounce it. Like Red Hood and the Outlaws. If I try to say Red Hood and the Outlaws really fast, it sounds really weird because I can't do my R's just for the life of me unless I like really pronounce them slowly. So the War of the Realms. There we go. After laying waste to 9 of the 10 realms, the Dark Elf King Malekith launched an assault on the last realm, standing, Earth. The Asgardians and heroes of Earth fought bravely, but thus far have failed to halt the coordinated attacks of Malekith and his powerful allies. They have divided the Earth amongst them, making a war that must be waged on many fronts. Malekith claimed Europe for the Dark Elves, gave Asia to Mesopotamia, North America to Frost Giants, Australia to the Trolls, South America to Nephilim, if I'm pronouncing that right, Antarctica to Roxxon, and Africa to the Angels, who call it New Heaven. First residence is anything but. I wonder if this is like a reference to like people saying that Africa is the cradle of civilization, which is kind of funny because I was just reading something the other day that I guess scientists are now thinking that it's not actually Africa, but it's actually I think Asia. This is just something I'm just kind of, I don't know. I'm kind of rambling, but it's just something that I was literally reading the other day. Yeah, that aside, whatever. So we're in Nigeria. So we got Spider-Man and his gang of dwarves, elves, trolls, giant lady, and I don't know what the hell this guy is. I don't know why these zebras are on fire, but it must be hell right now being Spider-Man. I mean, you're in Africa wearing full body spandex. Like he's got to be sweating his ass off in that outfit. So we get a little bit of humor. Hey, I'm so sorry. What's your name again? I've met a lot of people in the last few days. Ro Bloodroot, the Wood Wizard of Vanaheim. Ro Bloodroot, of course. How could I forget? Kind of a weak joke, but I'll admit it did get a bit of a chuckle out of me. Spider-Man is, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people write him as almost like a light version of Deadpool, like a less random version of Deadpool, and I'm kind of like, that's not Spider-Man. I don't know. Like it seems like people have just kind of. It's that whole trope where you have a character start off one way. Like usually you have characters like very dimensional, and then the longer a series lasts, they basically become a caricature of their former self. And I feel like that's kind of what happened with Spider-Man. Spider-Man wasn't really, I mean, he would crack jokes sometimes, but he wasn't like Harley Quinn. He's not like Deadpool where he's constantly cracking jokes. But now people have kind of just equated that to Spider-Man. I don't know. It's just, it kind of bugs me a bit just because it kind of, not one-dimensionalized the character, but there's more to Spider-Man than just humor. So we have our angel girl right here. She is the leader of this new Africa, or at least she's the leader of the Nigeria branch. She's kind of against all this just because she thinks the price to pay is too high. And I feel like there's maybe a little bit more, but they don't really go too much into detail. I will say I did like this establishing shot. I kind of wish this was a little bit bigger so you can put a little bit more detail into the color, because I think this is like a beautiful, this could be a really beautiful shot. You have, you know, an angel in church, the wings spread out, hands on the face, and then you have the light coming in through the windows. And if this was a larger image, you could have put a little bit more detail into it, and then a little bit more detail into the coloring, and it could be like very beautiful in my opinion. But as it is, this is fine. It could have been better. This right here, I mean, I get it. She's face palming, but I don't know if it's just because of the way they cropped it or what. But I feel like what they have here doesn't work for me. I mean, I get it. It's like, hey, it kind of shows that she's face palming, but I don't know. Maybe I would have extended this a bit more. Maybe shifted over so you can see a bit more of her face being covered by a hand. I don't know, something. But other than that, I mean, I like this artwork. It's nice and stylized, but I actually enjoy it. I did notice that this guy has a tendency, or I don't know who the writer is. I mean, the illustrator. Is it Sean Ryan? No, I'm thinking it's Nico, because I think DC does the illustrator first, and I think Marvel does the writer first. Because with Black Widow, they put the writers first and then the artist. So I think this is Nico Leon doing the art. I like the art. I will say this person seems to have a tendency to not want to do eyes, which is interesting because, I mean, I think they do a really good job of eyes and making them expressive. But there's a lot of this right here. Basically, there's a lot of the Brock from Pokemon with the constant closed eyes. Closed eyes. Can't really see anything here. Closed eyes. Closed, 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 closed. Like, everybody has closed eyes. I don't know why. I mean, I guess it's fine, like, for stuff like this, like if they're in the background or whatever, because you never put too much detail in background characters. But like right here, this character's right in the foreground. Why don't you have his eyes open a little bit? Give it a bit more expression, because seeing this, like, you can do eyes. Like, I can tell this lady's expression just from this page. I don't need to read any of the dialogue to get that whatever this person is telling her, she is kind of upset about it. But with that said, this expression makes no sense to me. So basically Spider-Man and his group are going into the town. This guy right here has casted a spell to make them invisible. However, dark elves have a magic that will be able to render that invisibility spell useless. They're under the impression that the angels are not necessarily working with the dark elves, in the sense that the dark elves have given them the magic to dispel the invisibility cloak, but they have, and this angel is informed about it, and she basically says, have the angels pretend that they don't notice the intruders until they're deep into the city, and then that's when we'll attack and rip their hearts out. So this expression does not match this. This expression feels like an exaggerated, almost anime, like, what the fuck did you just say? Or, you know, confused. Or like, you know, what the hell did I just see? This does not seem like the face of, we're going to rip their hearts out. It doesn't match. You got to make her like a little bit more meaner or something. Like, this just, the big eye, the little eye, and then just the way the eyebrow's not necessarily raised, but it kind of looks a little bit, it's just more like she is confused, or like you just asked her a question, she's kind of like, what? So, yeah, basically, eventually the angels attack, and they notice that Spider-Man's group knows that Spider-Man's not killing anybody, and then they assume that he's like a traitor at first. And he's like, no, I don't kill anyone. It's kind of like not my thing. So they kind of push him down to the side, and they just go nuts going after the angels. and Spider-Man notices like they're being too careless. Like this guy's launching a grenade at these angels. Meanwhile, there's a building in the background filled with innocent civilians. So Spider-Man disappears from, like, he leaves the group to go help the civilians. Meanwhile, his group stays behind to fight the angels. I'm gonna be skipping a lot of pages until we get to the part where Spider-Man confronts the angel. The confrontation seems like this whole issue kind of seems a bit rushed. This is a 3-part series, so I get it, I guess. But we literally go from Spider-Man inside a building helping to civilians to immediately he's inside the church talking to the angel. It's very rushed. And basically, there's a very brief battle. I don't even want to say a battle. It's more of just she kind of kicks Spider-Man's ass. And Spider-Man basically uses his Naruto talk no jutsu to stop her from attacking, and basically like, hey, why don't we help each other? And they kind of team up a bit, and there's a little bit more I'm not going to reveal, but yeah, that's pretty much the first issue of Spider-Man and the League of Realms. It's fine. The fighting is not the greatest. Like, the fight scenes aren't the greatest. There are some rushed moments, but overall, like, I mean, I like the artwork, minus just the absence of eyeballs in a lot of the panels, and then just like, this. But other than that, like, I think this is really nice looking. I think this can be really beautiful if you had expanded it. I like this issue so far. Doesn't hold a candle to Black Widow. I'll give this just like maybe an average grade. Mostly to do with it feels a bit rushed. I don't know. Maybe if I was actually reading the War of the Realms, I would understand more. I mean, this right here kind of does a good enough job of kind of telling me what's going on. Yeah, I don't know. I guess that's the best I can say. It's okay. It's not the greatest thing I've ever read, but it's not the worst thing I've ever read. The artwork is pretty good, minus just a few nitpicks. The writing is decent. Again, like, the dialogue is fine. I guess in terms of writing, I would just say the pacing seems a bit rushed. But I don't know if I can really blame that on Sean Ryan, because of the fact that this is a 3-issue series. And I'm assuming Marvel has a story that they want him to tell, and he's got to fit it all into 3 issues. So the pacing might be a little off. I can understand it. Doesn't mean I really like it, if that makes any sense. So overall, this is a fine issue. It's okay. Like, if you like Spider-Man and stuff like that, if you're a fan of the War of the Realms, you'll probably like, enjoy this. If not, I don't know. Maybe. I guess it depends on if you're willing to put down the money for it. But it's okay. It's fine. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys haven't already, please subscribe, hit the bell for notification, leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Feel free to comment down below. If you guys are into video games, I have a Twitch, also in the info down below. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will catch you guys next time. Later.